AI.
It's not about what I need, Pedro. It's about what I deserve. I deserve 144 hertz of fish.
There was.
Welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. I'm Ben Stone, joined every week by Jordan Swag and Pedro Mateos.
Hello.
And together with you, Shad Realm Dynamic, helping us form Cocaine Voltron, holiday season, full of the cheer. We've even updated our super secret Discord avatar. I forgot who brought that up.
It's Christmas.
Yes. It is.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas. When does
Christmas.
When does Hanukkah kick off?
Hanukkah this year actually lines up with Christmas.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, the first minute.
All right.
or so I've been told. Don't take me as an authority.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. A lot to talk about this weekend. Stick around. We're going to talk about that Steam controller too. Steam sale is upon us. I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but that got me digging around in my old games. And one of the games I ran across is, I'm sure we all have these games you just never finish, and you don't have a good reason that you stopped playing them. I'm sure at the time you had a good reason, but you just fell off. But not because you were bored with the game, something happened. Metro Exodus. Pedro, you enjoyed the Metro series a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I played the original. It came, we had a native Linux port way back in the day. Metro Last Light, then we had 2033, and Exodus came out, and for some reason, I only played the original, maybe 20% of it. I went back, I went through it, I finished it. I knew I was going to enjoy it, and it takes a bit more for me these days, because I know that you're not playing that with a controller. It's a Metro game.
Did you pick up where you left off, or did you start from scratch?
I found out it did not have cloud saves.
Yeah, okay.
So, no. And also being a Metro game, all of your keys do something on the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
No. Had a good time. I knew it was going to be an involved thing where you're not going to be able to sit back and play it on the couch. Really fun if you haven't played it. I'm sure it's on sale right now, but I got to the point in the game, at the end, wrapping it up, and it ended in such a state. Have you ever had this happen? Where you just go to YouTube and you type, what happened? Because you could feel
what did I just watch?
Budget dissolve, like the last 3 or 4% of the game. You're like, there was a problem here. You're like, let's just get this out of the way. And I watched like too many documents. Too many ducks. On
too
Metro
many
X.
ducks.
Yes, they both went quack, but it was real small. But it was strange because they didn't have high pitched voices. I thought that was odd. Being mini ducks.
Quack.
Yes.
Sound like Christopher Judge.
So that's my story. There's my recommendation. If you haven't played through Metro Exodus and you enjoyed the first two, good story. It's good. And it does end. One thing with the ending, though, is it has multiple endings. That was one of my primary things because I'm like, I know this is an Eastern European game, so it's just going to be bleak on the good times. But I was like, this is bleak even for Metro. And it turns out that there's morality choices that were made during the game. I'm like, that would have been nice to know before I just murdered everyone.
I mean, that's the Metro games. They've always had the multiple endings, even since 2033, Last Light.
Well, the difference between the good ending and the bad ending was like bleak and bleak light.
Yes.
Yeah.
The world's already gone to shit.
Novel. Yeah,
Good game. And they do it's really it's less of a first person shooter and more of a survival game. And it just does a very immersive series, like your HUD is non-existent. It even has crafting in it, and I didn't mind it. And I say that as somebody who avoids crafting.
I mean, it makes sense in the context of that game too, because again, post-apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
You gotta scrounge.
The one thing I didn't enjoy was during the first two Metro games, bullets are currency.
I thought that was one of the cooler features.
It was, and I enjoyed it, and because it put you in very unique situations to where you couldn't afford to kill that thing, so you needed to find a way to sneak around it because those bullets were going to buy you, mask filters to stay alive later on. They did away with that mechanic in Exodus.
Oh,
to be fair, you're not really going into towns anymore. You're sort of carving your own way through the wilderness with the train.
Right. And they originally planned on making it open world.
Yeah.
Where you can go back.
Now it's just pockets of open world.
Then they got it scrapped. Now it's just a straight line from point A to point B. This is the game, but it's still enjoyable. Go play it if you want. Jordan, you have a painting, though. I want you to share with the class.
I do. I got several
It's framed now.
It is? Did you get several frames?
Yeah.
Look at all this. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of old art that was sitting in a poster scroll. I just destroyed my desk. That's interesting.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, it's an L-shaped desk, and my chair just smashed into it and knocked the L bracket off.
Not the first thing to be broken live. Won't be the last.
I got this like Betty White versus Wolverine poster print.
All right.
Back at like back in prime Betty White days. Back when I used to go to conventions, I would buy a bunch of prints for art, and I got them framed finally. There was an arts and crafts store that had like a buy one get two free. So it's like, oh well, now we're just getting frames.
Yeah.
So did you just buy the frames, or did they actually frame it for you there?
There was one I sent in for custom framing, and that is my print of the Muppet Last Supper.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest, these ones are standard, and then I have a couple other ones that also need custom. It's so fucking expensive if you go to Michael's.
Michael's is
Yeah.
Pedro, how are you dealing with the Portuguese winter?
The Pinter?
I'm going to be dealing with that later on this month, so around Christmas time you won't see me here because I'll be in Portugal.
They're going to let him back in.
But yeah,
what are you going to do if you get stopped at the border? At customs?
It hasn't happened yet, so we'll see.
You're saying there's a
Hopefully
chance?
it'll keep not happening.
They're going to come get bust Nori for like smuggling, I don't know, like scones.
No, she just straight up has like a 3 kilo bag of heroin that she's just bringing back.
That'll be on her. We'll have words after that, but no. It hasn't happened yet.
The bag says Pedro on it, though, so...
Pedro just looked you in the eye, Nori, and Nori just said, I don't know you.
I've never seen this person before in my life.
But yeah, no, it's... I've actually managed to pry myself away from New World, and I looked at my list of games. It's like, okay, something that I bought that I haven't played that, Teardown, let's try that. And I saw the DLC, like the season pass was on sale because of the Steam sale, so I bought that. It comes with all the 3 DLC packs that have been released, and I've already finished the Folk Race DLC, which... that was fun. That was genuinely fun. It's like physics arcade racing. It's really, 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 really nice. Short,
really?
But really nice.
I think the older we get, the more we realize the superior way to purchase games, especially on Steam, is that 5 to 6 years after it's come out, where you get all the bug fixes, all of the DLC, and you usually end up getting it for like half off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looking at you, Starfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna wait.
But it does give you a bit of a warped perception sometimes, because I can think of multiple occasions where I've really enjoyed the game, and I go back and I read the reviews from when it launched. And like when the game launched, it was horrible. It had glaring, serious problems that were later fixed, sometimes like a year later.
There was that post on Reddit this week where No Man's Sky finally just hit mostly positive reviews.
Yeah.
So like
Cyberpunk, when it first came out, it was also got very poorly reviewed because of how busted it was.
Yeah, like when the Justice. Wait, never mind. That one's still bad. Never mind.
Well, aren't you talking about Marvel's Avengers?
Wait. What about Guardians of the... Wait, no, that was...
yeah, name the Square Enix game.
Wait, hang on. There's still Gotham White. No, that wasn't a good one. I'm genuinely going through a subsection I have of categories of failed WB games that I collect on Steam. I do. I legitimately do this. This is a weird hobby. I try to play them in hopes of maybe they're not that bad. I don't think I've felt one yet. I still want to play Gollum, though. I still want to test that one out.
I actually heard at least the writing in Suicide Squad is actually pretty good.
It might be worth it. It's currently on sale from, instead of $99.99 US, it is $4.
That's cup of coffee price. Okay.
Maybe. I might get the digital deluxe, treat myself.
Treat yourself.
But I don't think the horse is going to let me have my allowance this week.
No. The horse has declared that it is sale time, and it is oozing its way into your pants, up your pant legs, through your belt, and into your pockets to get at that wallet. It's the Steam Update.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is here. It is
Too nipple, too furious.
We wished it into being, into existence, from years of half-heartedly going, yeah, it'd be kind of neat if maybe they made a Steam controller, like 2, maybe, whatever. Furious energy we've put into it like that. So now it's time for some leaked images. Yeah. Steam VR
From
update.
Game Follower.
Yeah, over here on Blue Sky, Bisky.app. We got a pair of VR Chucks. What do they got on them? Kind of interesting looking. They're analog plus a D-pad and analog buttons on the other side. And of course, the Steam controller is, about what we were expecting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what everyone claims that they wanted. It's apparently the 20-degree tilt on the square areolas is the secret sauce.
Got a little bit of the touch there. We do have the not one, but just that one D-pad. We got 2 analog sticks and 2 touchies and a smattering of buttons.
It's way more ergonomic than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting just the big square, but it's good. It's good to see. Yeah, we also got the VR controllers. There are 2 varieties. There's the one with like the finger trackers, and then there's the ones that we see.
The Roy controllers.
The Roy.
As we talked about last week, how do we think they're going to deal with because we can't read a lot from the alleged 3D render here, other than does this inspire the Wii U tablet remote shape? It seems a bit square, does it? Does it not?
Yeah, it's not that much more square than, say, any of the third-party, like, Xbox, Nintendo controller situations.
What it reminds me of is the promotional controller that they released for Deadpool and Wolverine that looks like the ass. It's the kind of shape it gives.
Yeah. Just give
I
it
would say if you took like the original Steam controller and filed half of the bottom legs off, we'd be about what that's looking like.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't have the dip like the Steam controller have, because the Steam controller was very clearly trying to.
Neither of us can give an accurate dip anything about this 3D render because it looks like diseased bread.
That's the thing. That was mined directly from the Steam VR update, so that was a part of a Valve official thing.
That's like a little tiny icon that's going to be in an interface somewhere. And
yeah, it's low res.
That's what it is.
But that looks exactly like what people have been asking for. And it is similar-ish to how the Steam Deck is doing it, with the start and the dots button, instead of being below the trackpads, are in the middle. Fair enough.
Now, how many CR2032s do you think it's going to use?
Oh no!
Let's see. Those
I think they're gonna
3.3 volts. So you're just adding more for the sake of lasting longer.
Are they gonna bring back the thumb fuckers? That's what I want to know.
I hope not.
I hope so. I hope it's paid for to change out the batteries.
Personal preference / holy war, where I can be on both sides, because I think like a lot of you, you have the PlayStation controller with the built-in LiPo, which is great to keep plugged in, but you also have the Xbox controller with the AA's. Benefits for each, the PlayStation controllers are definitely nicer to hold. They're less bulky, less weight, but the Xbox controllers are really easy to swap batteries out in the middle of a game when you have to pause it because your battery died.
PlayStation controller, you just plug it in to power to something else that's just power.
I'm on the couch.
As we discussed last week, the real secret is you put the 3DS battery in there,
Yes.
the one for the dual screen handheld console.
If you
It's
didn't,
just your
you
little
know-
dinky wireless controller.
Yeah, did we talk about that on the show?
It might have been in the after show. Yeah.
If you're wondering why the Nintendo Pro controller lasts so long, it's because it uses the battery for the 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have two screens to power, that lasts a long time.
Yeah, it runs
just
for a minute.
overkill the battery. Do it.
So, gentlemen, I guess what I'm going to ask you, maybe we'll get some wireless charging. I was joking in the pre super shows, and go back and listen to that if you're one of our super sexy patrons. But maybe we'll get like a Steam charging pad, which would be nice. I would love to see wireless charging, but more realistically, more to the point, how much are you going to pay for this? Is $70 going to be our going price?
Well, what the Hori pad is supposed to be like 50 USD.
Mhm.
So I considering like there's a lot more hardware on here, I could see this maybe going for like 60, 70. Is it gonna, if they have it in like the crazy Xbox controller price bracket where it's like, oh yeah, pay $150,
No.
$200 for a controller. Yeah, that's just not
The
going to sell.
dual sense edge of 200 pounds for a controller? Nah, fuck that.
How much was the original Steam controller?
It was like $50.
That was $49.99.
50, 60, somewhere in there.
$50, and it came with Rocket League. So
Mm-hmm.
Free Rocket League. Yep.
Mm. Maybe. Like I think I'd pay $60 for it.
Yeah, if it was like 60 pounds or below, I'll probably buy one. If it's more than that, Valve, I'm gonna wait for a sale.
what if it's like, by the way, we're releasing the Steam controller too, and if we get over a certain number of sales, we'll just buy Rocket League from Epic and bring it back.
Part of me wants to believe that like Valve being a private company could also be like, we'll just buy Epic.
That
I could
would
probably
be
afford
hilarious.
them. Yes.
Well, that may open them up to some additional legal liability, much like our next story from gamesindustry.biz. We've been talking about this for a while. Wolfire is not very happy with Steam about their collecting a 30% commission, and demanding allegedly that you don't price your software any lower than on Steam. And so this case has been going on for a while. Dark Cat Games has also gotten involved. And so they were trying to expand this to be a class action suit, give some credence to the idea that like Wolfire is doing this out of the goodness of their hearts and not because they want to go after Valve. Because, you know, we've all been a member of a class action suit. We've all gotten that $3 check. And we're like, woo,
I got that sweet AMD check back in the day.
FX.
yeah. So go.
No, it was like, I forget Pennywise. I was like, check your mail. And I went and checked my mail, and it was like $35.
Okay, so and you know, depending how big the class is,
yeah,
these guys may get more or less money out of it. But yeah, the court has overturned Valve's appeal to not turn this into a class action case. The article from gamesindustry.biz is very, very glib on the details, but fortunately they do link to the primary source, which is the court documents, which I did read through. So here's what I could glean. Part of this transforming it into a class action suit was pending on the testimony of one Dr. Steven Schwartz. I was going to ask, who the fuck is Dr. Steven Schwartz? He's no Stephen Strange. There's a lot of medical doctors named Steven Schwartz, just FYI. But in the court document, he's a statistician. He's an economist and statistician. They wanted to dismiss his testimony because they cited his methodology was flawed, i.e. he wasn't considering Valve a two-way business in his evidence, disregarding his statements of a general most favored nation policy, because we've talked about it, it applies to Steam keys and DLC, although this case is alleging that in practice that is not actually the case. It is more of a broader most favored nation policy, although it's not explicitly stated anywhere. The judge disagreed on this. They cited a bunch of cases where Schwartz's methodology was used in a bunch of similar settings, primarily a bunch of American Express cases and a bunch of automobile dealership ones as well. We also got an Epic v Google citation, so this is becoming relevant jurisprudence. And I really hope we get one of these Epic v Google things where like everyone loses and the consumers win, but we'll see. Anyways, the judge makes it clear that whether or not Schwartz's conclusions are actually wrong, the methodology he used is valid, and you know, the court case proper is the place to litigate whether or not that whether or not that information is actually correct. Additionally, as I stated before, Valve says that their most favored nation policy only applies to DLCs and Steam keys, and the Platons say that's not actually true. There are back channel deals and a bunch of emails and stuff that indicate that this is otherwise. So, there are class action, boys. And this will go on forward, and I guess we're going to see what's going to happen. There's talk about like the network effects, and we've talked to death about how, you know, Valve isn't really doing anything super sketchy. It's just more they make mildly pro-consumer choices, like the bare minimum pro-consumer choices, and somehow that puts them light years ahead of their competition, providing like actual facilities and like benefits for their commission. But yeah, there's argument to be said that like it doesn't need to be this high, and the fact that they are keeping pricing, and they're essentially leveraging their platform to control pricing, at least in the PC gaming sphere.
Ultimately, back to our topic at hand is we brought it up on the show before. You know, I think maybe a possible solution with Valve is rolling out something we discussed as a multi-tier percentage plan. You know, where you don't need everything, because you got to think about like 30%. That could be a lot or little, depending on how much of like Steamworks you're using as a game developer or a publisher. Or what about this? They could maybe change their sliding scale for the percentage, because I think it's 25% at 10 million in sales. Maybe take that down to, you know, something a little more reasonable, like 9.99 million. Maybe that would work. But what about this, gentlemen? What if the solution is to simply go back to Valve being hyper selective about who they allow on the Steam store?
See, that then there would be a reason to actually sue them, because hey, they're the dominant market, and now they're straight up disallowing people from putting things on their store. Then there would actually be grounds.
That's a monopolistic practice shit.
Yeah. Grounds for the monopolistic claims that they've been leveraging at Valve currently.
But
to finish the sentence out, how would you? You know, so what was monopolistic when they were only letting in quality games that they thought were, because let's be honest, when
they weren't in the dominant.
Let's be completely honest. Valve has been the 500-pound gorilla even before they started allowing everybody else in. Like Valve used to have a quality. A lot of us, I think, listening to the show right now, would call it the good old days, when you didn't have shovelware on Valve, on Steam. When, if a game was on Steam, there was a expectation of quality.
The Nintendo seal of quality. I mean, but to your point, yeah, I think honestly they were being monopolistic, but we were also it was also in an era where physical game sales were still a thing. There were still EBs, there was still stuff that you could.
Physical game sales were the dominant platform at that point.
You could still buy CD-ROMs of games. Steam wasn't the only thing, and you know. For completely natural reasons, right? Like Steam provided a better experience than these brick and mortar stores, and was able to outcompete them. The unfortunate reality,
not at first.
But we're not talking about at first. We're talking about now. And now the unfortunate reality is, yeah, they are kind of the monopoly. And, you know, as beneficiaries of the despotic regime, we don't want it to change too much because we get a bunch of cool Linux stuff. But, like, you know, there is a problem.
I'm definitely talking about doing some changes on Valve. I'm seeing how this could realistically end. Like, you know, realistic things that Valve will do as a private company that, you know, they don't answer to shareholders. They basically are in a position of like, yeah, we can change this, but we're going to change this in a way that's beneficial to us. Because that's how that's going to work out.
Maybe they do need to be compelled to make a move that is less fully beneficial to them. I don't know. It's a complicated issue, and like they're going to get litigated out in this court case anyways, right?
They are a big target. Yes.
So my proposition is what I want to hear from everybody else, because like one of the things about being restrictive, they went back to a more restrictive model because like Valve just did that out of the. Like, hey, let's make some more money. Let's let everybody in. Let's have a green light. Let's have early access. Like, you know, give us $100. We'll let you sell on our store. We'll provide you all the bandwidth. We'll give you all the tools. We'll give you a forum. We'll give you a web page that you need.
The community tab, the workshop integration if you want to use it, the trading cards.
Now, I could definitely see a system like you don't need all that. You need a web page and you want us to pay for the bandwidth for the people to download your game. We'll take 10%. I think that's a valid solution. And, let's keep this rolling. I want to be able to sell my game on the Nintendo Switch store, on the Xbox store, and the PlayStation store.
Well, considering the level of Nintendo quality has been progressively decreasing, it probably can, yeah.
I think the real solution is interop. If I buy my game on Steam and I can play it on Xbox or PlayStation and vice versa, that solves this problem. You can compete.
Yeah. That would solve all of the problems. Let me buy the game once and play it on any platform.
No. Can't be done.
Impossible. Completely.
That would actually be a use for NFTs.
Let's talk about a new game that came out this week that I want to give a little bit of a shout out because we're always looking for, co-op online games that are Linux native that you can get people together. And this is Haunting Hijinx. Outwit your friends as the ghost or cooperate and catch and spooky minigame for 2 to 5 players. And that's really more of a description that you can find in the game itself. It is a Godot game, which is another reason I wanted to give it a mention. Also, completely priced to sell, absolutely free. Pick it up while it's on sale during the Steam sale at free, which will probably still be free. PvP.
No, it's going to go up to like 99 cents.
And co-op, it's going to be 1 penny. Yeah, I just want to let people know about it because I thought it was pretty interesting. I launched it, played around with it for a minute, and it is very much bare bones. Choose your own adventure mode. You have full screen and drag and drop, and it's good to see Godot showing up on more and more titles, but really no instructions about gameplay whatsoever. I thought it would be fun to attempt to decrypt it in the after shows.
I do like that they're bumping conventional wisdom. You got to cross the streams if you want to catch the ghost. We've been taught from a very young age, don't cross the streams. But you got
these are just flashlights.
Doesn't matter. They're basically lightsabers if you use your imagination.
Yeah, no, this particular genre is very, very popular. I don't get it personally. I guess people get some kick out of the co-op find the ghost and then try to survive the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't for like the entire concept of a haunted situation is just very much survival horror. It speaks to a very lonely experience to me personally, but then again, I like Amnesia: The Dark Descent and Soma.
Here's something I want to bring up in case you don't know. See if I'm accurate with this. You enjoy playing online games where you don't have to interact with anyone.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be fair to say, wouldn't
it? Yeah, no, the almost 700 hours that I now have in New World would speak to that. Yes.
Do you
alone together?
Like maybe 10 minutes talking to other people? Am I eyeballing that?
It's not even that. It's right. The occasional. It's like people are gathering a group to do one of the raids, and I'll just do plus the name of the raid, and I'll get an invite. I'll accept the invite, and that's the end of that.
He's known as Matthias the Silent.
Yeah, it's plus sign Matthias.
I am very much the mildly competent player who says nothing.
Well, yeah, maybe Pedro, you need to shut your block up. So, Besiege, we love it. Murdered Legos. We've played the multiplayer version of it as well, and we decided that it takes forever because you try to build your murder cube, and you can spend forever trying to fine tune it. But look at these cheeky motherfuckers, like actually hitting the roadmap. It's the last update of 2024. And they have a bunch of new blocks, including flywheels, rollerblades, and boingy pads. And they have they got some new visualizers as well for like drag and joint stress. And the fucking T-Rex they have in that joint stress analyzer.
I just want to take a minute. Listen, I know somebody took the time at Besiege to make that animated GIF say hi. You were noticed. Boing. I see you.
How many takes do you think that took? Far too many. Yeah. So you get there's like a drag generator. There's a whole bunch of new blocks for the people who like actually make functional vehicles and not murder cubes or like murder sticks. But yeah, we get a ship and the fucking T-Rex. The T-Rex is what gets me. They're like, if you can actually build this in Besiege and like have it work, I am genuinely impressed.
That is not the problem, Jordan. Clearly, people were making multiple T-Rexes and were having problems with their T-Rex.
They kept falling apart before they could smash into each other.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. They needed to create a better, more powerful T-Rex system. But yeah, what caught me was the joint stress. The joint stress visualizer is interesting, but the drag visualizer, because they just straight up have created an air tunnel for your murder machine. So you can test, so you can have the most efficient and fast murder machine, be it in air or in the water. I love that.
Land, in the air, by sea. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Murder.
Some T-Rex is always
that
one
is
out.
actually really nice.
Dude, another thing they pointed out in the release notes here, they've added no new Easter eggs. So you know this is going to be loaded with Easter eggs. If they're going to put that, take the time to put that in the changelog. Get out there and go find them. $3 during the sale. Go ahead and buy it. Just buy it. Play around with it.
It's a fun game. Even if you just go in the sandbox game, even if you just ignore the campaign, you can have a blast. Just like in the creator, just building your game.
And to what Jordan said about, hitting their timeline goals, maybe that was like what they were getting set up during the 7 years of early access.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were getting ready to hit all those. But let's talk about the sale real quick, because we've talked about multiple sales throughout the years, and lately, definitely in like the last 2 years, it feels like the Steam sales have just been kind of like, oh, look, it's just another sale. Things are 20% off, 25% off, 30% if you're lucky. I've been looking around this week. There are some really good sales going on in the autumn sale, unfortunately, because I go to SteamDB like, a normal person, and, always check like 90%, 85% off. I'm like, what's an Insta buy? Plenty of games for 95, 90, 80, 85. Unfortunately, there are ones that are already owned, but maybe you don't.
And that's the problem with the old Steam accounts is like, what's there to get? Just hentai games.
Well, yeah, if you look at the native Linux games being released, there's a lot of porn.
Also in terms of like, eventually the only games you haven't bought are going to be the hentai games. So
yeah.
I really wish there was a filter on because like Steam, when you cut out all of the pornography, it also catches a lot of stuff that's not pornography. Mm-hmm. So like on the filter thing, you either just get the, straight up porn games with everything else, or you get, you miss out a lot. We need a...
You just get the PG-13 ones.
We need the moderately horny filter.
The Witcher filter.
The booba category.
Right. Which would be great. That would be awesome. Please do it well. I love you.
Let's
Selaco
sing the Doom song.
Make a Selaco.
Selaco, yes. No, this has been a very interesting game ever since the first announcement, because it's made in GZ Doom. Yeah, it's that game.
Is it another boomer shooter?
Well, it is made in the boomer shooter engine. So yes, it is.
I think that's a fair thing, because games like Quake 2 Rally exist, and it's not a boomer shooter; it's a racing game.
That's true, and Sonic Racing too. The Sonic All Stars.
Yeah.
But this one is very much just if someone wanted to create Fear, FEAR, First Encounter Assault Recon, in GZ Doom, you'd probably get something very similar to Selaco. And it was in early access for a while. It had just actually, it's been in early access for a while. It has the first campaign out. It had there was like a demo only for the longest time, and people really, really liked that demo. So now you have a full campaign, and just as end of the year type of present, they've released a light novel sized patch notes, which they have a secret quote unquote campaign that you can play. They also have New Game Plus, sort of. You also have the randomizer. You can randomize pickups. You can randomize the encounters. You can randomize like paths through the level. There's a lot of stuff. They support
That
GeForce
looked a
Now
little
and
bit
Steam
out of
Cloud.
place. Where was this?
The power-ups? Yeah.
We're getting there. We're going to see if we can tap the pause. Wow, no.
So going through their light novel, as Pedro alluded to, Control F Linux gets a hit. The Workshop binary now has or the Workshop downloader now has a Linux native binary. Also, no more source code for you. The installer's too big, so you don't get any more source code, at least in the Steam version. You can just go to their website and download it.
Yeah, find it on their website. But yeah, they also have one of the things is support for GeForce Now and Steam Cloud.
Ooh.
Those are two entirely different things. The Steam Cloud saves and GeForce Now, the streaming platform. But
Pedro, Pedro, think about
Don't
it this
you,
way. I want you to think about it this way, Pedro. I just wanted to write one sentence.
Also, doesn't can you like log into Steam through like the GeForce Now thing and like use your
Yes.
Steam saves? So yeah, it is semi-related.
Sure.
If you want to play your save in Selaco on GeForce Now you can.
Being right on a technicality is only beneficial when you're the one that comes up with it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's also been improvements like little quality of life things. Of course, there are. I mean, the patch notes are huge. The headshots now have actual different sounds and indications on the HUD. There's a mutator menu if the randomizer and New Game Plus aren't cutting it for you. You have the mutator control that you can change basically anything you want. You can carve out your own experience. Just scratch that itch however you'd like to. And there's a bunch of weapon rebalances. Like, there's even a section for each of the weapons with each of the rebalances. And I'm sure, those will not piss anyone off on the internet.
Not controversial at all. No.
From the game that the game wasn't even out yet, and people were already complaining about the blood being pink. So rebalancing weapons at this point, brave.
It's open source, so they can go back and like add like even more pink pop-up ability cards. Yeah.
Someone made Selaco.
The hippie blood, like in Serious Sam, where just like people bleed flowers.
They made Selaco, which was a mod that just changed the color of the blood to white.
Yeah, Selaco. Yeah.
Oh no, that is Mortal Kombat 1 on the SNES blood.
more like Mortal Kombat. Am I right?
Sweat blood. Hey everybody. One thing we talked about last week was it last week or the week before? The Half-Life 2 update. Let's smash all the episodes together in one thing, do some quality of life updates, introduce some brand new bugs. I watched a video on that on YouTube earlier this week. Like, hi Valve, here's all the bugs that you've introduced in your update. Lovely. Love to see it. One of the big bugs that they couldn't do anything about, but they probably could have, but it's Valve, was all the mods. It broke a lot of mods. And I think probably the most popular thing with Half-Life 2, outside of just cosmetics, mods that change the actual game itself, is Synergy. And if you're unfamiliar with Synergy, it allows you to play Half-Life and Half-Life 2 multiplayer, co-op, and it's an absolute blast. Well, they've updated it. They fixed it. The new update, everything works again. They've changed a couple of things. Still no support for Black Mesa. Spectator mode is in there. And they are still working ever so hard you might be thinking, I've never heard of Synergy mod. There's a good reason for that. Because in order to make it work, you need to do this thing called port forwarding. And I can think of two camps. Like anybody who didn't grow up in the dark times, when this was just called, I want to play a multiplayer game. Of knowing
Port
how
666, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Ports on your router. Modern PC gaming, people new to that, people new to networking are like, I have no idea. You're speaking Danish to me, which can be terribly confusing. So they've been hard at work on automating that and making it work, the networking support setup and Steam integration, which is going to be a good thing to add friends and to play that way. So, yeah, good work, everybody. But Jordan, you just want to get you just want to enable chaos here, don't you?
I do. Well, yeah, you scroll on the bottom, they're like, 32 player support now, massive optimization support, high number of players. Oh, and there's a dedicated Linux server binary now. Let's go. We're doing it. Yeah, also, it's been 10 years since their last damn update. Yeah. Almost. That's been a while.
Well, that's why one of the change logs is just legitimately other changes lost in time. Period.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Apparently, they've still been churning stuff on the development branch. They just haven't had a release.
We know they're like, updated some things that we just didn't document it 9 years ago.
Yeah, doing the Git diff, you just see like massive walls of green, and you're like, sure. Whatever, it should be fine.
You ever do that? You're like, oh, what was updated? I'm like, I don't care that much.
Oh, unfortunately, it's my job to read through all the patches, so I gotta actually comprehend what's going on.
Code review. Good news, everybody. Something we wished into existence last week is even better than my wildest dream.
Air Wizard Harry. Yeah, we got news on pricing for one of the first BattleMage cards coming out, the B580 for $250 USD, which is $100 more than the last time. The A580 or whatever it was, the A480, I forget, or the A. Whatever the fucking model is, they're weird. I haven't internalized the Intel one just yet. That was $100 cheaper.
310, not the 310, 580 and 770.
Okay. It's gonna be B770
and the 750 and the A380 and there's a few.
It gets a little confusing. Don't give me fucking send me some hate mail and tell me I'm an idiot for not knowing all the fucking Intel model numbers. I don't give a shit. The card is coming out. It's gonna be about $250 US, $100 more than last time. A little bit more pricey, but also it's mature technology. The other competitors are sort of in that price point as well, and apparently it's supposed to be in the 4060 Ti range, which for $250 US is reasonable. But I'm curious, does this mean that like the B970, or I guess it would be the B770, is that going to be like closer to $400 or $500? Because like that might be a little spicy for
kind of depends
slightly better than
depends on where it sits, Mr. 4070 Jordan, because I went and looked, a little bit of research here. According to a leak, that it's going to trade blows with the 4060 Ti, which was fanfic last week or the week before. I'm like, that can happen. And it's going to be doing it for $250, which is $30 less than my fanfic price of $280 for an Instabuy. Like, you have a very disruptive piece of silicon with a PCI Express connector on the bottom of it here, Intel. You really do. 20 Z cores, 12 gigajoules of memory RAM, and being able to trade blows with the 4060 Ti. The thing about that is I went shopping for a 4060 Ti, the 8 gigabyte model of the 4060 Ti. This is what happens when you have zero competition for 4 years, is that 4060 Ti 8 gig is $380 on the low end, for the budget 4060 Ti.
I mean, that you can almost get a 7800 XE like Jordan has for another $100 on top of that, and that's a much better deal.
The 16 gig 4060 Ti, because of course they made one, is $500.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah. So we have a 12 gig card that can compete, has more memory RAM, and is damn near half the price.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't end up competing quite at the level of the 4060 or the 3060 Ti, because again, very similar to each other. Even if it's just like 3060 or 4060 levels of performance, $250 is a very good price for that level of performance. And especially these days.
and again, we've seen it. We've been beaten down by the exorbitant graphics card prices. We're happy with good enough. If we can get like a solid 1080p 60 with a modern game, fantastic, bueno. For under $300, great. We're laughing.
That will be very, very competitive. It's
So let's take a look at a 4060 versus a 4060 Ti and something like 1080p, about 10% over a 4060, which isn't too bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. I'm open to feedback at any point here.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100 about what 30
About a
FPS
30%
difference
there in,
yeah, it was
leg.
between 30 and 5% going from the 60 to the 4060 Ti, which, yeah, fair enough.
So I would definitely say if you were going to have to pick between a 4060 and a 4060 Ti and you could afford the 4060 Ti, that'd be the one I'd go for. Not Pedro. Pedro has a different take on it.
No, it's more of at that point, why would you go with NVIDIA unless you really want either CUDA or you can't just let go of DLSS for some reason.
3 frame gen.
RTX on, baby.
RTX,
I need my memes. I need my RTX button.
I need the letter G.
I mean, if you want to find your G spot, that's up to you. But
let me show you the Pokemon Cloister, and that's where you can find the G spot.
But it is like, at that point, if you're going to be spending it, look at what AMD is offering for that price, because the 7700.
And
Pedro,
honestly,
you even admitted last week that for 280 it would be crazy, didn't you?
I said 250 last week.
I said
250. It would be a damn good price to price it at, because
I thought we said it would not ever exist at that price.
So
that would be the ideal price.
So we're expecting this to go live sometime in December. This is when it's supposed to
Pedro, can you buy it right now? You want to check? It's already December.
I mean, it's already December here, but no, you can't buy it yet.
I still got another 2 and change hours here.
Dude, I'm going to need you to check outside your front door just in case it could be out there.
What's the UK electronics retailer that you usually go to, or is it just Best Buy?
It's called bankruptcy back in 2019. There were what was it called? Maplins. There was a Maplins here. It shut in I think it was 2019.
It's called Amazon, Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically Amazon.
Order it online.
There's AWD. There's a few other online only retailers. But yeah, it is basically online only. So there's no
you cannot camp out in front of a building and with your can of beans and be like, I'm waiting for BattleMage. I'm waiting for BattleMage.
Probably
man.
You could, but I still want to drive home this $250 price. But because for the three of us, it is interesting, but it doesn't hit the same for us. Why? Because it's $250. $250 is still a lot of money. I always roll back to 14-year-old Vin. $250 GPU that can compete with a 4060 Ti all of a sudden allows 14-year-old Vin to realistically build a computer without taking out a loan from NZXC.
Yeah,
and without having to buy used.
I'm looking forward to having some actual affordable candidates to replace my fucking RX 580 in my TV box.
Then all of a sudden, wouldn't it be just a coincidence if the 4060 and the 4060 Ti and the AMD equivalent all of a sudden get a 35 to 40% price cut all of a sudden for no reason?
Yeah.
If the
that would be terrible, wouldn't it? Yeah, actually having some competition and some reason to lower prices in 2025.
I will probably most certainly definitely 100% almost think about buying one of these for interfacing Linux, because outside of the gaming, I'm so curious about the compute side. So we will see. Up next,
we need some more competition in the handheld space, man. The Steam Deck monopoly is going too far.
We gotta bust up big deck. Is what Jordan is trying to say, man.
Yeah, break it up.
Deck busters.
11 inches.
First AMD Strix Point. That's right, the HX 370. That thing, man. First handheld with the AMD AI business in a 12-core, 24-thread, 144 hertz. Then we start with the problem. The base level of this is $1,099, with the top-end version being $1,699. So 73.2 Hollow Knights on the low end. Kind of pricey, but, I'm trying to make this make sense price-wise, and I found a way in my head, at least, where it works out a little bit better. All I had to do was apply a little bit of, wishful thinking. So it might make sense at that price if I give you these specs, even on the low end, M.2, NVMe, 12,000 milliamp battery. Hey, Windows 11. Now, how much would you pay to USB 4? And the, that's Zen 5, which is kind of dope. At $10.99, that sounds like a lot for a handheld. But what if we just brought back palm tops? Remember those Windows CE palm tops with like the white screens on them and a little keyboard?
GPD makes those.
That's cool.
I'm saying they exist.
Okay. So wouldn't it be cool if they brought back palm tops?
Let's
transit. Well, we're in that timeline now, I guess. I don't know. Like I don't know. This thing's gonna be a fucking China thing only for the most part. You can order it and get it shipped if you feel like waiting.
Oh, they have a US website. Yeah, like it's in the show notes. You can just go to their store. It's English. Down. Order.
Yeah, they are currently available on Bilibili. If you'd like to play that particular lottery, but. Yeah, no, that price might have flown, before
Pedro,
the
we know
deck.
you're not going to buy it, so we don't have to worry about it.
No.
You can get the personalized emblem for $30 now. Oh, wow. What a steal.
When, before the Steam Deck was a thing, but now, literally right now at the time of recording, when the Steam Deck 64 gig is
Pedro, look how smooth the food looks on it, though.
Under $300.
That is some really smooth food, Pedro.
That
food is
the hardware
144
acceleration
hertz.
also works on the Steam Deck. You don't need the AI.
It's not about what I need, Pedro. It's about what I deserve. I deserve 144 hertz of fish.
There was that one game. I forget what it was, but like in the in-game cooking, it just cuts to a video of like actual meat cooking.
Okay, here's the thing. We're 30 seconds into the trailer for this thing, and we're still just watching videos of food being played on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry now, honestly.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, wiggle the analog sticks like that's going to make a difference to the video being played.
We
listen. You need to get good at like dessert range.
Here's a game. Here, hang on.
Hey, FPS.
52 seconds in. This is Black Myth Wukong. Yeah. It's 40 FPS.
If the TDP readout is accurate, 15 watts and getting that performance in Wukong, even if it is, lower graphics, that's not bad.
Can you imagine?
That's not bad at all. It still doesn't justify $1,000.
Really?
It does if you want to like be able to flex on your Steam Deck owner friends. Be like, haha, look how great these games perform on Windows 11 on my One X player.
Oh, wait a second. Windows needs to reboot because there's an update.
Well, I mean, this is, they made up the point, brought up the point that video cards is like, this is like a company, this is like their first showing, and it is a bit more expensive. But to roll back to, Pedro brought up the GPD, they make palm tops, right?
The really tiny laptops and the GPD Wins, which have the controller
basically like the problem with, as anything with GPD is they're still boutique. They're low volume. They're expensive as fuck.
That's the price, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's probably built into this, but if you want the biggest and baddest and most expensivest,
buy the ROG Ally Pro.
I'm sure you can like.
What I'm saying is you need to head over to patreon.com/Linux Gamecast and become a patron so we can buy all of these and see who does a better job playing food videos. Video playback.
No, which handheld PC is a better cutting board for cutting vegetables? All these food videos makes me want to cook something on my Steam Deck.
There's that big one that they're releasing.
I just want to see which one is easiest to do coke off of.
The MSI Claw, 100%.
Oh yeah, no, the MSI Claw, because it's all glass at the top, so you don't have like the crease around the screen. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that-
I want something around the edges of the screen to catch the liquid.
That's what we need now is the MSI Carrie Fisher.
Powder them noses. All right, something you might be able to
can you run
install
Playtron with that?
on your
Yes, you're going to need an operating system because you're not going to be running Windows 11 if you value your patience. So maybe Playtron is a thing you'd look at. Go on, Jordan, you're dying.
Patience.
No, must talk. Continue.
But yeah, it's Playtron. I even installed it on one of the laptops and I took it for a spin. It had some issues. Namely, I think I ran into a bit of an I/O issue, which may or may not be related to one of the release notes that they bring up. Because they have the new version. What's it called? Alpha 2. It's out. You could go download it, play with it. It has support for new Turing. So the GTX 1600s and up. You have dual GPU systems like NVIDIA Optimus laptops and whatnot. Instead of using base Fedora 40, they're using base Fedora 41. Makes perfect sense. That's all very good. There's one bit that sticks out, which is in the compatibility with the iNeo 2 and 2S, ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, and the Steam Deck LCD, NVMe. And then you have in the known issues bit, no support for the Steam Deck LCD 64 GM model. I'm guessing they meant gigabytes there. So they're specifically targeting NVMe, which would certainly explain the issues I was having on the laptop because it was an M.2 SATA SSD. So I suppose I'll have to try it on the laptop again because apparently there's some issues if you try to install this on Steam Decks, and it's not just the Steam Deck support itself, is cloud saves. There's some cloud save issues with Steam. Namely, it can corrupt your cloud saves. Also, I'm not entirely sure I trust Playtron with my Steam password because it's not entirely open source.
Yeah, I mean, there are some better fixes on the Steam Deck side though. On the OLED, they managed to squeeze out 2 times battery life, meaning that something was really jacked in the power management department.
Oh, it didn't have any. Power management was just not
no,
Pedro.
Pedro, we've doubled the battery life. This is our elite engineering.
They've doubled the battery life, and that is good for OLED users because OLED sleep doesn't work.
Yeah,
Hibernate doesn't work on OLED.
Yeah.
But I remember asking Strider, and he specifically said, there's no power management at all, so it was running full tilt all the time.
the touchscreen on the ROG Ally 2 is also maybe a wee busted, but it's alpha level software. You can expect there to be bugs. Just FYI.
Yeah, go play around with it, man. Right?
Yeah, no, don't put it on your Steam Deck. Don't sign into Steam. Don't corrupt your cloud saves, please.
So, I would love to know what the fuck they're doing that will corrupt these saves. Are they trying to do something where you can synchronize your saves between your Epic version and your whatever, and that just fucks it all up?
I don't know if they're trying to do that interoperability, but they're doing something with the cloud saves, and they've specifically enabled cloud save with conflict resolution for the Epic Game Store and GOG games.
That's not something I'd want to, trust my save games to, unless you back up your save games before you test.
Or you really don't care about that game that you're testing.
All right. Now, another thing, they've added Turing Plus support. So that means modern NVIDIA cards, which is good because most people have an NVIDIA card. It's kind of a warped statistic when you're hanging out with a bunch of Linux users. But your average people might be like, all right, yeah, they probably got an NVIDIA card. And one thing I'm curious about, though, is anybody hardware manufacturer committed to shipping Playtron OS?
I know Samsung is on board, so potentially we may see a Samsung device, but I haven't heard anything specifically about them saying that.
Kind of has to happen for it to become a thing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
there needs to be a flagship device,
something that you can just buy with it on it.
Yeah, because because we've brought this up before. Your average person doesn't know or want to know how to or want to install an operating system on the device, period.
Or what is operating system, right? Yeah, they're thinking about it like, what operating system does your PlayStation run? Like, get away from me,
my wife
nerd.
literally told me today, I don't want to talk about operating systems anymore. Can you please stop? So
I'm hungry. Just give me my fries. Come on.
I don't know.
It was a burger, but yes, same.
He's just standing in the kitchen with the refrigerator open. Like,
yeah, no, I'm holding the burger in the box in front of her. She's like, "Give me the fucking thing, son of a bitch! If you mention memory management one more time, I'm gonna stab you."
we're not done with over-the-air updates just yet.
Carrier locking. No, shut the fuck up about carrier locking. Lock that burger into my mouth, you bitch.
Go check it out. Go play with it. Report back. Install it on something. Maybe not your cat. Maybe not, your Steam Deck. But if you got a Steam Deck and you want to try it out, do it. Just keep in mind that it is alpha. Things are going to be a wee fucky.
When
if you have an ROG Ally, put it on the ROG Ally. It'll probably be better.
Stick it on the MSI Claw. Do a rail of coke off it, and then play some Hollow Knight.
And try out some different things too. Don't stick with just Steam. Go try out.
I thought you were gonna say don't stick with just cocaine.
No,
try some other stuff.
No, I mean definitely do something. Quit doing those soft drugs. Try something with a little teeth. All right,
get that crocodile on the claw.
There you
go.
The
crocodile.
We're bringing back the crocodile. Crocodile's back on the menu, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get in touch with us, just drop us a comment below the video, and we might put it in the show. If not, head over to the linuxgamecast.com. We got a contact button that just takes you to an email address that you got to fill out and do the email the old-fashioned way. And that's the thing. If you want to support what we do, patreon.com/Linux name Gamecast.
The name of the game is Linux Cast Game, man.
The mini game is finding our Patreon. It's on Linux Gamecast. It's probably linked in whatever you're watching this on.
Are we on LinkedIn?
Fuck no! I deleted my LinkedIn account. I could not handle the recruiter. Like I just no.
The LinkedIn
I still have
lunatics.
A LinkedIn profile.
I just ejected it, and I think I ejected it like right when it has turned into like the fifth column of social networking.
The Microsoft's dating service, basically.
It's its own thing now, man. But yeah, if you join us on Patreon, you get the live and uncut versions of the show, access to our Discord. You also get that if you're a Twitch sub. So go ahead and link that up if you already got that rocking on, and game streams and a gang of other benefits as a thank you. We do appreciate it. Plus your name in the credits, which we're about to roll right about when I get back up to the top. And cue the music. Yeah. You can always find us right here on Twitch. 8 p.m. going live. We're in the pre-super shows in Discord. An hour before that. 30 minutes before that. How about that? Numbers and stuff, man. I'm not feeling it tonight. You can always get in touch with me. I'm on X at Vinstone, Blue Sky at Vin, and we have a Mastodon, mass.linuxgamecast.com. Scream in my direction. Hit me up. Head over to Interfacing Linux. I'm going to have out the WX3100 right up on Monday, possibly Tuesday, but that's also up for patrons if you're on the Interfacing Linux thing as well.
I'm Jordan. You can follow my adventures of sniffing random substances off of random handhelds.
I sniff burgers.
Yeah, follow that progress on Mastodon at Frojo at mass.linuxgamecast.com or Frojo at bsky.app.
And, well, if you want to do a line of coke off of me, you need to clear it with Nori first. But it can be arranged.
She literally is selling tickets, dude.
As long as it's not her cocaine.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even cost money. She gives them to you.
Do not hit that particular stash. It won't end well for you. But
you gotta use my
find
cocaine.
Me at unaccounted for at mass.linuxgamecast.com if you want to follow me. I don't post much of anything. I retweet the occasional thing, and I usually like all of the shit posts that people leave because those are funny.
You are always going to be my perpetual social butterfly, Pedro. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Time for some credits.
Flap, flap. Oh, there's never going to be a Steam Controller 3. We're going to get Steam Controller Alex.
Yeah, no, Valve can't count to 3.
We're gonna get dead controller. We're gonna thank our advisors out there and our executive producers 1, 2, 3, 4. Ian, Ishep, Kraducky, Tatargos, Barbara M. Scott, Nahamek Mike, and our little Nicky fans, Eggy, Basil, Empty, and KC.
And the Sea Monsters, Dancing Joe, John, Dirty Dean, Angel, Dementor, System TRL, Rider X, Machina, Nehemiah, Versanuda, Trudgy, and Mike. And
Plenty
Death
of
Notes,
Death Notes.
Redist, Mark J, Terrell, Oil of Hope, Benjamin, Nova, Chad, Romeo, Turnover, Martin, Renee,
Cheerlings.
Leonardo, Kim,
Look
Chris,
at 'em.
Jill, and Steve,
Paulo.
And Joanna, and
Nick.
Christopher.
Marco Polo.
And don't forget our Libra
Darkwing,
players,
and
Sandy
Simha.
and Shade. Also, I want to give a shout out and a happy birthday wish to Nubbin for a 54-month resub on Twitch, along with North Ranger in that 27-month. Yeah, let's do it. Jordan,
What?
what does Betty White have to say to us as we close things out this evening?
Oh, I don't have a good Betty White rant. Locked in the
Damn.
chamber, man.
Damn.
I need time to go rewatch
Nothing
some
but
Golden
damn.
Girls.
Bonus damn.
She would say darn because she doesn't swear.
Dynafire, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.
5 dudes.